And welcome to In Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. An initiative for Father's Day will see collaboration between MP4 Deputy O'Meara, Lisa Morris-Julian, and the Manly Man Project. Creator of the initiative, Alvin Brown, joins us now while you still have time to register for the free seminar. Greetings, sir. Thank you so much for making the time. And we've had some conversations, but give us some updates with regard to the Manly Man Project, please, because we see boot camp going on, we see other things. So what are some of the things that have been taking up time and investment?
So right now, the biggest thing has been the boot camps. We have parents, both from nuclear families and from single-parent homes, who don't necessarily have the time to discuss or to give certain skills to young men. So we're talking about things like how to change a car tire, or how to cook a simple meal, how to iron a shirt, how to do basic electrical repairs. And because of that, I started doing the Manly Man Boot Camp, where I teach young men the skills that they need to be independent in today's society. So I call it the Manly Man Boot Camp. Currently, it runs for 10 weeks, and you have different things happening on each week. In some cases, you may have it happening on more than 1 week, and it's usually done on a Saturday afternoon.
And there is something that you wrote about in terms of trying to foster or exploring the importance of spending quality time versus literally throwing money at a problem while distant. Give me the distinction between the two approaches, thanks.
No, if we were to look back at our own fathers, our own parents in general, the good memories that we have, the memories that stand out, in fact, any memory at all that we have with them is always about how we felt. It's never about how much money they spent. And so what happens oftentimes is society and men themselves will do it to themselves, is they assume that once I spend money, I give my child money, or I give the mother of my child money, or I give my wife the money, I'm a good father. The important thing is to spend time. And let me give you another example. If you have a miserable granny, maybe when she's 85 or 95, she will sit us down and she'll have a conversation with us. She'll be very contemplative, and she'll talk about the issues that she had when she was growing up. And then you'll realize that is why Granny was so miserable. And that is when we, in the Caribbean, tend to start to communicate, when we're old and gray and we're extremely reflective. But it is that communication that allows us to understand each other and to understand each other's hang-ups and develops a better relationship. Once that has happened, then we are more forgiving. We were able to adapt and navigate the relationship more, because now we have a better understanding of where.
And looking at that looking at that intergenerational sort of engagement, give me the rationale for this upcoming project, please, a father-child conversation on the 13th of June.
It's important because once we spend time, we deepen relationships. And what is important now is that there's a lack of deep relationships in society. I'll give you some statistics. 90% of gang members come from fatherless homes. 85% of youth in prison come from fatherless homes. And 70% of teenage pregnancies come from fatherless homes. So what we want to do is to encourage men to spend time with the children, focus more on quality time and building that relationship, even building a relationship with a nephew or a cousin, so that we can reduce the effects of the gang members or the gang leader who is being the father figure, or a predator who is going out there who's trying to build relationships with your children in your home, where you feel that they're safe because they have a cell phone. And with that cell phone comes contacts that you have no idea that they're having. So the purpose of it is to encourage the fathers to spend time with the children and to have them appreciate as well the dangers out there and how much their presence protects their children.
Now, there are many instances where people say that it's collaboration or it's not necessarily causation, but at the same time, those are some very interesting statistics in terms of looking and saying, okay, well, that is definitely something to pay more attention to. But looking at collaboration, though, how did the collaboration with the MP come about, and what do you hope to gain from it?
So I'm always looking for avenues to reach out and to connect with more people. And so what I'm planning to do now, as with the boot camp, is I go into different community centers and connect with the residents from those communities. So I reached out to the MP to see how we could partner, and her team suggested a project, and during discussion we came up with a father-child conversation, because of course this is the month of June, and it just falls in line right there.
And even makes me want to ask a little bit about mental health and how that plays in, especially when you think of male mental health, looking at it and bringing it to the forefront, because there's a mindset in terms of what is the reason behind this course of action. The course of action doesn't take place in isolation, but looking at action, what are some of the actions, what are some of the outcomes that you're hoping come out of this initiative?
With all initiatives, it's bringing the fathers, making them more aware of what is out there. And let me give you some examples. So we have Zessa pills that are currently being consumed by persons who go to different parties. Not everyone knows that these pills are also being used as date rape pills. Not every young lady that goes out there, or even a young man that goes out there, knows this as well. So having the fathers and the children appreciate the importance of watching the drink, appreciated the importance of not having children in big people party, appreciate as well the importance of developing emotional intelligence, having your child comfortable enough to come to you when there is an issue, also having them look on the fact that you have different AI software that can make me seem like someone else, and we could be having a conversation and I could be catfishing you. So you think I'm a let's say a 24-year-old young lady when I have a big bearded individual, and can lead you astray. So you can go and meet me and you realize that, well, I'm actually not who you think I am. And we see even adults getting caught up in that. So oftentimes you hear of people trying to buy a vehicle online, go meet the person and they get robbed. How much more do you think a child is susceptible to that kind of action? So it's the purpose is to make them aware of the dangers that are out there and to encourage them to develop the relationship. So when those dangers come, if and when they do come, their children are comfortable enough to come to them for protection.
And I like that, because it's not a matter of saying, okay, well, I'm just scaring you, as opposed to building awareness and showing other avenues that you can take. But we continue the conversation when we return. We are looking at a father-child conversation, spending time, not money, an initiative of the Manly Man Project, as well as MP for Dabadi Omera, Lisa Morris-Julian. Stay with us. We return after this. Welcome back. We are looking at an initiative that will be fostering conversations between fathers figures, and children, doing so with the Manly Man Project creator, Alvin Brown. And just before we took the break, you gave some of the topics that you'll be discussing, Mr. Brown. And some of those can be a bit heady, a bit heavy. What kind of age group or age range are you thinking about when you are speaking to the children? What kind of age range are we talking about?
Well, we want them all there. We want them all there because the conversation is with the fathers and the children. And so the conversation is easily adaptable. And the most important thing is to have the fathers aware. And once they're aware, then they're able to continue that conversation at an age-appropriate manner. So whatever will be said in such a way that they can always come. They don't have to worry about if someone is 10 or if someone is 15 or if someone is 25. Bring them.
And sometimes somebody could be 25 and they're on either side of that conversation. Huh? But talk to
Yeah,
me.
they could be the father or the child.
Definitely. But talk to me about the logistics of the day, please, in terms of like how do people register for it? We know it's on the 13th, but how do people access being part of this seminar?
So there's a Google Doc that is available. So once you go on the MP's Instagram page or even my page, my Instagram page, you can access the information. You can also just message us and we'll send you the link as well.
Now, you can't just say my page. I need to read and spell first, please.
Sorry, that is true. The Manly Man series, so that's MANLY, Man series, and that's on either Facebook or Instagram.
And I think there's also a phone number to call to get more information.
Yes. So let's see here. I can give you mine, or I can give, let's see. So you can call Brittany at 702-9268. So that's Brittany at 702-9268.
Okay. And what is, I'm not sure if to ask what is next or how do you add on to this? Because it's one thing to start the conversation and you say when people go, they will have the conversation age appropriate in their time. But is there follow-up? After you go into the community, you speak with some of the actors, you speak with some of the people who are helping things to move. What happens next?
Yeah. Well, there's already something happening. So an example is the boot camp. So the boot camps allow us to develop competence in the children. And I mean, no, it's for young men, but I am thinking of working on one for young women as well, because there are some skills that are just needed regardless. Competence creates confidence. And so a confident individual is less likely to suffer from low self-esteem. A confident individual is less likely to have a relationship that causes them, if it's broken, to become suicidal. And so these are some of the things that we're trying to create. So one is the boot camp. The next one is other father-son or father-child or mother-son or mother-child conversations that will be happening very soon, as well as things like having events that are outdoors. Let's say like an archery event where we use teaching them how to do archery and see how the similarities between that and parenting. So we have a lot that is coming up. So just keep focused on the Manly Man series, and there's a lot more to come.
And I like the way you're talking because yes, and the fact that you're an educator bleeds through this conversation, because even like talking about the archery and saying yes, the stated outcome is learning to art or learning to fire arrows at a target accurately, but there's also a hidden curriculum, and then you're connecting dots laterally. So, but I want to ask though, how do you find that time? How do you find the energy to continue going as an educator, and even being a male in that role where you sometimes find yourself thrust into this mentorship role, people seeing you as a surrogate parent? Both of my parents taught, and sometimes I used to jealous them, asking, wait, now who's the real child here? You or the student? So how do you find that to continue?
Honestly, one of the things I was actually having a conversation about a young man recently, and I went and started investing even more time to encourage him on the straight and narrow, because there is really not much of a choice, right? Is either we connect with them now, or we connect with them later on when it's at when somebody is getting held up. So for me, I try to respond now and see how best I can mitigate that individual becoming a statistic. Unfortunately, I've seen students become a newspaper heading, both positive and negative. So that's one. The next thing is we're always looking for sponsors to assist us with the boot camps, etc., because it is a capital intensive endeavor, both time and finances. So that definitely encourages so that it can continue, because it as you can appreciate, it is a mammoth task.
And you're saying this and you're making me remember something that Archbishop Clyde Harvey would have said. He said that some are guilty, but all are responsible. So trying to put in front, as opposed to looking and seeing stories that are less than ideal after. But you spoke of partners or stakeholders. Who are some of the people that you're looking for? Is it facilitators for the sessions on a Saturday? Is it sponsors? What kind of sponsorship are you looking for to help with this capital-intensive endeavor that you are doing on a very consistent basis?
Looking for sponsors as it pertains to, let's say, the tools, because what I do is I have the young men create an extension cord from scratch, and then I give them the tools that they use. So now when they go home, and their parents have told me, and they themselves have told me that no, they're looking around for anything to repair. So it's, again, confidence and competence, extremely important and extremely related. So let's say a hardware store who could come on and give me the tools for the young men, or an individual who has a kitchen who can sponsor teaching them every and anything. I mean, we have some really good facilitators currently. I must say they're excellent. And so right now, the biggest thing is sponsors as it pertains to tools as well as capital, like actual hard cash.
And I like the fact that you say that, because sometimes when people hear sponsorship, they think it's just money, but you need the money to do things. So in terms of getting those things to you, but looking at the fact once more, the premise of this conversation was Thursday, 13th June at the Malabar Phase 4 Community Centers from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. For more information, you can call Brittany at 702-9268. Thank you very much for the work that you have been doing and the work that you continue to do, Mr. Alvin Brown. On behalf of the entire TTT News team, I'm Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us.